Another question that often shows up is, how do you find a research question? And really, it's simple. It's whatever is interesting to you and whatever there is a need for. So for example, everyday life can provide a lot of interesting ideas to do research about. Or you can have practical issues where you're faced with problems and there needs to be some more knowledge about how to deal with that problem.
It could be past research, that has been done previously. You might want to replicate it or to look at it in the context of some new information. And also you could get your idea from some theories. Theories are really important in generating ideas.
In general, you can imagine that you're funneling a research question. So you would start with a general topic, and as you come along, you're getting more and more specific. So for example, you could start with a topic which could be distance learning. Then the research problem could be the lack of students in distance education classes. And then you could look at the purpose statement. Why should you investigate that? You should do that because there's a problem that people don't want to attend distant classes, for example, at a community college. And your research question could be, does the use of website technology in the classroom deter students from enrolling in a distance education class?
Well, we can look at everyday life and practical situations. For example, what educational techniques or practices work well? An example of a qualitative question might be, how do students react when teachers use direct instruction? We could do a variation on a theme here in quantitative research, and we might ask, is there a difference in achievement between students who are taught only with direct instruction versus students who are taught with a combination of direct instruction and small group activities? We could also look at some of the current problems that we're facing in education. For example, from a qualitative perspective, there are a lot of educational reform initiatives, but sometimes teachers are resistant to these. So why are some teachers resistant to educational reform? A qualitative question might be, what's the difference in achievement between white, Latino, Asian, and African American students?
Often past research is a great resource for ideas because first of all you can connect to ideas in a study or look at the suggestions that studies have at the end of their articles where they suggest what future research should look at. Also, you could think of replicating a study. A lot of times we don't do that enough in educational research where we have certain findings but we don't replicate them enough to make sure that the effects that we found actually hold up in different environments. And then thirdly, if you have conflicting results, you could try to reconcile these, develop a new theory or a new approach and look at how these different views can be reconciled.
Theories can also be important. We might want to test an existing theory empirically to see if it still holds up. We might want to add to a theory. And then test it empirically. We could integrate past studies into a theory, or we could generate a new theory. Usually this is done, or often this is done with grounded theory in qualitative research. And there are a lot of questions which might inspire you. We've got a list here, and you can think of a lot of new things. I'm sure there's a lot of questions you have for issues that are important to you.